We want to hear your story. We want to figure out how we can help you by connecting your story with what is factual, what is true, and what is going to be best for you and your family. So that's impactful because I think a lot of times many veterans' stories aren't heard; they go unheard, and with these unheard stories, unfortunately, you miss a lot of good information that can assist you in your process, and we want to be able to assist you in that process. So we're here to hear the stories.
How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm wonderful, man. Just blessed, brother.
Blessed, definitely, definitely. So now veterans, have a lot of different questions when they're applying for their benefits, and sometimes veterans actually don't have a medical history, right?
Yeah.
Of actually being seen in service or otherwise regarding certain ailments and different things that they're dealing with. So what we want to talk about here today are some of the conditions veterans could actually get rated for without any medical records required.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a big one, right? Because there's so many different veterans who are out there. Unfortunately, did not have the best medical track record, right? Being able to go see medical, or you have to understand when we're in the field as a military member, a lot of times you're not having the availability to go to the doctor, or leadership is saying no, we don't have time for that, or there's you don't want to be looked at. There's a huge stigma amongst, if you're going to medical, this is you need to take care of yourself, right? We want to kind of go away with that. So when we're talking about that, there's many issues that may or may not need any type of conditions, right? Documentation. Much of it does not, need documentation at all. But a lot of it can be presumed when we're talking about presumptive conditions. A lot of it can be, tied to the specific job that you're in, or deployments, or documentation of personnel files, right? If I'm an outstanding sailor at one point in time, or an outstanding soldier at one point in time, the next thing you know, something may have kind of dropped and depleted, and now I'm just not that stand up person anymore. What happened? What happened? It's all type of medical elements that can be applied to that, right? So when we're talking about that, there's all types of conditions, right? One condition could be, hearing loss, right? When we're exposed to hearing, when we're exposed to hazardous noises, these things transpire all the time when you're serving in the service, right? There are so many that can be accounted for, but being exposed to hazardous noise is something on a regular basis, whether if you're sitting at a desk job, or whether if you're an aircraft mechanic. You're exposed to these things, but the military tries to provide different things, such as hearing protection and so on and so forth. But we all know that sometimes you may or may not have it in, or you may not have it in properly. But some of these loud hazardous noise are just that, hazardous noise, even with hearing protection. I'm not sure if anyone stood by or close to a jet that is about to launch. It's pretty loud. So again, that's one aspect of things, right? When we talk about mental elements, that's another part of things, right? There's so many mental transactions that go on within service. Stressful incidences that transpire that could be accounted for as well. But again, how do you prove these things without documentation? We all need to understand that we have, diagnosis later, but also we got to figure out how to corroborate those things, right? Place, time, and service for such things as PTSD, but that's a whole video in itself. But a mental element. There's also things such as medical things such as musculoskeletal conditions. Right, depends on your job, your MOS, your rate, your things of that nature. So if I know that you're a Marine, that is backpacking throughout, Camp Pendleton or something of that nature, we all know that, being a Marine is tough. Being any type of, military member is tough, but being a Marine is tough. You're exercising on a regular basis, running, jumping, jogging, prolonged standing, doing things of that nature, hiking with these heavy rucksacks and different things that nature. But what happens is your musculoskeletal injuries begin to deteriorate. Well, how do we corroborate that? Those are the things that we want to figure out, and you need such things as a nexus letter, right? But again, that's a whole nother conversation. That is just something that is a medical opinion that is linking your Marine service to your current conditions. So there's a plethora of conditions that we can go down. That I just wanted to provide a few that can help you out there.
Absolutely. No, that's great stuff there. That's great stuff. You definitely said that. We don't want to give them the secret to the sauce too much as far as, some of those other things. Obviously we're here. You can reach out for a consultation. And it's most important that we go into your individual stories when we're talking about this.
Yeah, that's huge. I think that's key, right? A lot of time, you're going through processes. You're just a number. You're just another number. We just talked about different figures. There was, in regards to the PACT Act, there's 786,000 claims approved within a small time frame. You're just another number. We want to hear your story. We want to figure out how we can help you by connecting your story with what is factual, what is true, and what is going to be best for you and your family. So that's impactful, because I think a lot of times many veterans' stories aren't heard; they go unheard, and with these unheard stories, unfortunately, you miss a lot of good information that can assist you in your process, and we want to be able to assist you in that process. So we're here to hear the stories.
Absolutely. So that helps, man. Definitely thanks for giving us some, different options for our veterans could be able to get rated if they didn't have those medical records. But again, as you just kind of said and alluded to, if they do actually end up going to medical, after service and getting any documentation that they can, it can only increase your claim, right? So can you go in there and try to get tinnitus approved without any medical documentation? Yeah, you can do that. But if you have a nexus letter, if you, go and see your VA medical doctor and actually, do a hearing test and all those different things, that's only going to increase the likelihood of you actually getting the highest value for that particular claim. And that actually leads us into our next topic, Kenneth. We're going to be talking to him about high value claims. Okay, so what type of conditions kind of rate the highest value of outcome? Because, our veterans want to make sure that they're getting seen for their ailments, but also getting the most compensation possible. So stay tuned. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that one.
Perfect.